Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you back to my shack here in Northwest Oregon. This is Ham Radio Live, show number 87. Happy December 1st, everybody. 2020, final month of a tough year. Welcome to the show. Please ask you to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you'd like to know when we go live. But the subscribing part's really important. It helps people that would like to learn about ham radio to find the channel. That's really important because we want people to find the channel because we want them to learn about ham radio and hopefully be able to help them pass their exams to get their license. The goal here is and always will be to get people licensed and on the air. Okay, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk on things that are on the United States Technician exam. Now, this is the first of 3 license classes in the United States. There'll be some similarities to various other countries' tests, but the information here is really important and actually will help to span and answer questions on higher license tests. So hopefully it helps you. That's my goal. My name is Larry. I've been doing DX radio shortwave side over 47 years. Haven't been a ham that long, to be quite honest. Got my license a couple of years ago, almost now, year and a half. It hasn't been that long. I didn't realize that they took code out of the requirement. I was late on that one, but knew a lot about radio way before then. Was in commercial radio a long time, and it's been my passion since I was a kid. So I hope you enjoy the channel. Our goal is truly about helping people. No ads, no commercials, no monetization. It's all about helping. It's my way of giving back. So I hope you'll subscribe and help us to reach more people who'd like to search and learn about ham radio. Okay? Today we're going to talk about things that are on the technician exam in the United States, but again, they transcend other license classes as well. I hope you'll find it helpful, and we'll explain some things, maybe answer some questions along the way, and I guarantee we'll have a little bit of fun, all right? First question on the old technician exam. In the United States, what is connected to the green wire in a 3-wire electrical AC plug? Now, in the U.S., our plugs look different than they do in Europe, okay? Our plugs are very different looking. There are 2 vertical slats, essentially, and then there's one round one at the bottom. They're asking here, inside that connected plug, about the green wire. In the United States, it's the equipment ground, okay? The ground. That's important for people to know. So if you see a green wire in your wall, could also be black, okay? But it is the equipment ground. Excuse me, could also be copper, pardon me. Excuse me, this could also be a copper wire. So that is your equipment ground, and so you know if you're having to wire a circuit in your ham shack, you do. And you see number 2, I forgot to answer. I skipped some because we do a lot of the questions and they rerun and it's like, I don't want to do it. By the way, that's Radio Dog back there. You can barely see his little face right there. That's Jasper. That's my little JP. He's usually in here when I do shows and also when I'm on the air a lot. So I call him Radio Dog. He's my helper. So he's going to help us out tonight. That's Jasper. All right, next question. Technician exam in the U.S. Why do exposure limits vary with frequency? Talking about exposure limits, we're talking about radio frequency exposure. So it's important to understand what exposure limits we're talking about. The answer is given. A, lower frequency RF, which means radio frequency for our new ham friends. So lower frequency radio frequency fields have more energy than higher frequency fields, or is it B, lower frequency RF fields do not penetrate the human body? C, higher frequency RF fields are transient in nature, or D, the human body absorbs more radio frequency energy at some frequencies than others? The answer is D. The human body absorbs more RF at some frequencies than others. It just depends on a lot of factors, to be honest. It could depend on how close you are to the tower, how much transmission power is coming from the tower, If it's directional, if it's pointing right at the person, that can make a difference as well. So there's a lot of variables involved. Typically, the power levels on ham radios are low enough that exposure levels aren't bad. However, when you do add a piece of equipment like an amplifier or directional antenna, always good to do a new station evaluation. That's something that we just call good amateur practice. Okay, next question. Which of the following is a purpose of the amateur radio service as stated in the FCC rules and regulations? Is it A, providing personal radio communications for as many citizens as possible, B, providing communications for international nonprofit organizations, C, advancing skills in the technical and communication phases of the radio art, or D, all the choices are correct? The answer is C. According to the FCC, the purpose of amateur radio is to advance skills in the technical portion of radio, and that means receiving and transmitting as well as communicating. So, different ways to communicate. We don't just use microphones. Some people think ham radio is only with a microphone. Yeah, we actually do use mics, but we also use computers. A lot of us do. Computers, sometimes that require us to do nothing at all. It's simply hooked up to our ham radio, placed on the correct frequency, and the computer will key the microphone input to the radio automatically and make calls, digital calls. They're called FT8. It's a very popular form of communication right now because we're in a part of the sunspot cycle where we're coming back up to get more sunspots, which helps us communicate more effectively and make more calls. But FT8 is pretty cool because it works just by a computer. Someone else has a computer a long ways away. Well, they pick up the signal and computer talks to computer, and the rest is history, as they say. So we do it that way. There's text messaging, there's television, there's Morse code. There's all kinds of ways that ham radio operators advance in the technical port and communication part of radio. It's pretty special, really is. There's a lot of aspects to ham radio, and I bet one of them would speak to you pretty loudly. It's pretty cool. Next question. What types of international communications is an FCC licensed amateur radio station permitted to make? So you're talking to someone in another country here. The FCC says you can A, communicate incidental, talk to people, just incidentally to the purposes of the amateur radio service and remarks of a personal character. So you can talk about the bands, you can talk about your life maybe a little bit, talk about, how things are going and, your shack, your radio, your signal report, all that stuff. We don't talk about a whole lot of other stuff. We're radio people, so we focus on our hobby. Yeah, right here on the shirt. There you go. Look at the shirt. The shirt's the answer. A hobby where people use to talk. A hobby where people talk about their hobby using their hobby. That's it. That's really what ham radio is about. People that talk about their hobby to other people using their hobby. There you go. All right, next question. Who does the FCC presume to be the control operator of an amateur station unless documentation to the contrary is in the station records? That would be your station log, okay? Is it A, the station custodian? There's no such thing as that, okay? B, the third-party participant? No. C, the person operating the station equipment? That sounds plausible to a future ham. Or D, the station licensee? The answer is D. The FCC presumes that the control operator of the radio station that you're using is yourself. If someone else is using it and they're incorrectly using it, you're the one that's responsible. So please make sure when somebody grabs your microphone or possibly your computer that you're using it in the right way, okay? Because the FCC assumes that you're the one using it. That's why that's important. Okay. Next question on the technician. This is what gets you started on the road to ham radio and gets you a license. Just a second. Let me grab a little water. All right. Now, this is an interesting question. We haven't had this one before. Which of the following formats of a self-assigned indicator is acceptable when identifying using a phone transmission? Now, this is, let's say, for example, okay, we're leaving for a trip to Memphis next week, all right? We're also going to be taking a full tour of MFJ in Mississippi. So we're going to bring a ham radio with us. Now, my call sign's K7HN. In this illustration, they use the call sign Kilo Lima 7 Charlie Charlie, okay? So we'll play along. All right. Is it Kilo Lima 7 Charlie Charlie stroke W3? Is it Kilo Lima 7 Charlie Charlie slant W3 or slash W3? Actually, all the choices are correct, believe it or not. It really is. It's totally up to you how you want to use this. And it's used when you're going to a different call area, all right? So, for example, when we're broadcasting from Mississippi or Tennessee on this trip coming up, I'm going to be using my call sign saying slash K7. And the reason for that is because I want people to know excuse me, I'll use the call district where we're at. It'll be slash K, that call district, because it's important to identify with the call district you're calling from in order to let people know that you're not calling from your QTH, which is your home. So it helps people know you're mobile. Some people will say portable. For example, they may say K7HN portable 0 if they're maybe in the state of Colorado operating, for example, okay? Portable, it's another one that they use. But those examples here that are given on the FCC test are really used when you're working outside of your own call district. And you can find those call districts online. Just search in your favorite internet search engine, and you'll be able to find what the call districts are in the U.S. Take your radio on the road, use it, use one of those designators. It helps people know where you're at, okay? Next question. Which Q signal indicates that you are changing frequency? Is it AQRU, B QRY, sorry, QSY, C QSL, or D QRZ? The answer in this case is B QSY. QSY means I'm changing frequency. That's all. Nothing more. It's just a simpler way to say that we're changing the frequency that we're currently at. Okay? So simple to remember. A good thing to do on these is to take a look. You can print them out. There's Q codes that you can find by searching on the internet and memorize, a few of them. That'd be helpful. QTH, remember, is your home. QSY, you're changing frequencies. QRZ, right? I'll let you figure that one out. Put it in the comments section. Let me know. Be interested to see what you come up with. Search for QRZ and not the website one, okay? That's going to be the trick. All right. Which of the following is an acceptable practice for an amateur operator who has checked into a net? All right. So you've checked into a ham radio net. Now remember, a net is a group of 3 or more like-minded individuals who stay on one frequency, and they conduct, whether it be safety issues or maybe working DX, which is long-distance contacts, could be anything. But they get together and they talk on a normal basis on one frequency, or they move it if there's contests. It just depends. So what's the accepted practice? The answer is C. You've checked into the net. So you start out, you've waited for the net control operator to ask for what's called a check-in. You then give your call sign. If the net control operator or one of their assistants hears you, and what I mean by one of their assistants, let's say you have a net control operator who is, I don't know, maybe you're in New York and you were living in California, right? You may not be able to hear the person in New York, but perhaps there's someone in Texas that's a net control assistant, and they can help the person in New York hear your signal. So that person in New York would be able to hear you check into the net. After you check in, what do you do next? That's really what this question's about. The thing to do next is C. You remain on frequency without transmitting until asked to do so by the net control station. Okay? So you just check in the net and you wait for your turn. That's all. It's pretty simple. But it's good to know because that's how nets work. That's how they stay organized. Otherwise, people would be talking constantly. No one's going to communicate because everyone's talking. Remember, communication is both talking and listening, okay? Next question. And it's wintertime here in North America, almost, just about winter. We're 3 weeks away. So this is a good question for right now. Why might the range of VHF and UHF signals be greater in the winter? Is it A, less ionospheric absorption, B, less absorption by vegetation, C, less solar activity, or D, less tropospheric absorption? The answer is B, believe it or not. Less absorption by vegetation. Now keep in mind, VHF and UHF signals work differently than HF signals. High frequency signals work literally, your one station is over here, your other station's over here, but the signals don't work line of sight, meaning that this tower doesn't transmit to this tower by a signal that goes straight across to it. That's not how they work. HF signals bounce up off the ionosphere and then back down. That's how this signal here is heard from over here. Now on VHF and UHF, it does work by line of sight, okay? So what you have with VHF and UHF in this question is very important to take a close look at it. It asks how it can be greater in the winter. Why might the range or the distance of the signal be greater in the winter? What's the reason? Well, because they're line of sight, and typically, excuse me, a little itchy nose, you typically have line of sight, and the Earth's about 11 miles in terms of distance that you can see along the horizon. So as you go farther out, those towers start to go out of sight. Okay. Trees, mountains, hills, anything of height can obstruct a VHF, UHF signal. Trees are one of the things. Crops, things like that. You'd be surprised. It can make a difference. That's why that answer is the way it is. Vegetation is less in the wintertime. Doesn't absorb the signal as much. Okay. What property of radio waves is often used to identify the different frequency bands? That would be A, the approximate wavelength of the frequency. Okay, so we're talking about how do we basically determine what the frequency band is? Simple. You ever want to know what meter band something is? Take 300, divide it by the frequency. You'll have the meter band. Now, it's going to be a little wonky when you do it on 40 and 20 and 17 because it's going to come up to a different number. That's why you kind of have to round to the one that we know is correct, which is 20 meters, 40 meters, 17 meters, okay? Those aren't going to work out most likely. It's a very small portion, if at all, on some of these bands. But historically, that's how they've been called, and they still are to this day, even though mathematically they don't add up. All right. Now, this is really important because this will help you not only on the technician, but also on the general and the extra in the U.S., okay? What formula is used to calculate current? Current, okay? And this is important. We're going to go over it all. What formula is used to calculate current in a circuit? Is it A, current, which is the designator I, equals voltage, which is designated by E, multiplied by resistance, which is designated by an R? Or is it B, current equals voltage divided by resistance? Is it C, current equals voltage added to the resistance? Or is it D, current equals voltage minus the resistance. Now, there's a very good way that you can find out all three of these really simple. Let me show it to you. I can't claim credit. It's just how I learned it. Think of the triangle here, and think of the word ear, but not spelled like ear, okay? EIR, okay? E stands for voltage, I for current, R for resistance. In this triangle, E at the top, you can get the current or the resistance if you need E by dividing what you're trying to get. For example, if I'm trying to figure out what the voltage of a circuit is, I need to know I and R. I'm going to multiply I times R, which gives me E. All right. If I want to know the current, I'm going to divide voltage by resistance. The same goes for current. Sorry, for resistance. I would divide E by I. That's it. Remember the pyramid and remember EIR. Remember ear, but spelled with an I. Simple to remember and a great way for you to hold on to this important message right here, because this right here can really help you. It really can, to determine voltage, current, and resistance on circuits. It's universal. It works fantastic. And that's one thing I hope you will remember. And this leads into an interesting question that many hams don't know. All right. We have a lot of different things when we talk about with electric things, circuitry, right? We talk about voltage, amperage, watts, resistance, inductance, capacitance. It goes on and on and on and on. But let's stick to basically what's inside your walls and what works your gear. All right. Voltage. Voltage is important, right? Voltage, think of voltage like your house spigot on your sink. You pull it up or you turn the knob and it pours out. The water pours out really hard. But if you barely turn the knob, the water kind of trickles out, right? Voltage is pressure. That's what voltage is. Voltage is pressure from an electrical current that's available to you. Your house circuit current may have 200 amp circuit, right? Could be 200 volt circuit. Could be, it's not 200, it might be 500 volts, whatever. The point is, voltage is pressure. Voltage is how fast the power can get through to your product. That's what voltage is. That's why we use in the US 110 and 220. All right. 220 means that's the maximum amount of pressure of electrons that can flow through the circuit to the object. That's what it means. So think of voltage as the pressure, okay? The amount of pressure it can push. Amperage is a little different. Amperage measures the amount of electrons that goes through a circuit in 1 second. That's what amperage does. And how it measures it is it basically says an item must be able to deliver a certain amount of electrons in 1 second for a product to work. The problem is when you add a whole bunch of different products onto a circuit, pretty soon that circuit has overloaded the amount of amperage available to you. Okay? Thank you for the thumbs up. That was nice. So again, voltage is pressure. Pressure, okay? The amount of pressure of current that can flow through a circuit, okay? Amperage is the measurement of how many electrons can be fed through that circuit with that powerful voltage in 1 second. That's amperage. Watts is how it's measured, all right? When your electrical company comes by your home to check your power bill, they check your watt meter because that's all the watts you've used to power all your electrical devices. So voltage, pressure, amperage is the amount of electrons to operate all of your things in 1 second, and watts is how they measure all of it in, okay? So keep those things in mind. That's important. Your watts is just simply a unit of measurement for electrical power. That's all it is, all right? So it's a very important way for you to understand, why an amplifier works better at 240 than it does at 110. There's more pressure at 240 to push that power to the circuit. It's readily available to it. For that reason, the amplifier uses less wattage, all right? Less wattage because it has more pressure to get the supply of power it needs. That's why. Alexander, good morning. That's great, man. Good morning to you in the UK. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Love that Zygu, by the way. That's pretty cool radio. So keep that in mind. Voltage is pressure. All it is it's pressure of the power coming in. Think of it like a water spigot, turning it up loud high, or turning the knob to make the water pour out really fast. That's voltage. Amperage, it's just a measurement of how many electrons come through the circuit in 1 second. And watts is the number of those electrons measured. That's it. You'll have it. Maybe a little bit tough, but if you think of it in water terms, maybe that'll help you a little bit. I hope it does. It did me. So that's kind of how I figured it out a long time ago. All right. What is a transceiver? The answer is B, a unit combining the functions of a transmitter and receiver. That's why it's a transceiver. It both transmits and receives. That's why we call them ham radio transceivers. Little fun fact for you. The original Yaesu FTDX 5000 was misspelled. It was actually called a transceiver. It was missing the S. No kidding. TRAN and then the C. They forgot the S. So long time ago. The original 5000s were actually sold that way. All right, last 2 questions. What might be a problem if you receive a report that your audio signal through the repeater is distorted or unintelligible? The answer is all of these answers are right. Your transmitter could be slightly off frequency. Your batteries in your handheld could be running low, or you're in a bad location, or a combination of any or all of them. That's it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Little quick one there on the one on the bottom. Why do most solid-state amateur radio transmitters reduce power as SWR increases? So this talks about transmitter power, whether it be the radio that's on your desk or an amplifier. Solid-state amps do the same exact thing. They will reduce output power automatically to protect the output final transistors. That's why. So if you look at your watt meter when you're transmitting and you don't have good SWR, if you say you got a 100 watt transmitter, your power meter might show you're at like 50 watts or 40 watts. And that's to protect the finals. It's the radio doing its job to protect itself. By the way, Alexander, it's so cool to see you, buddy. Good morning. All right, last question. What do the initials LEO tell you about an amateur satellite? Is it A, the satellite battery is in low energy operation mode? No, think about this. To a future ham, this could make sense. B, the satellite is performing a lunar ejection orbit maneuver. We aren't working lunar satellites. just remember that part. C, the satellite is in low orbit. Sorry, low Earth orbit. I'm sorry. That lunar one makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I think of that. Hello, Apollo 19. I'm calling from K7HN. No. Okay. D, the satellite uses light emitting optics. Okay. When you know that a satellite has LEO right by its satellite ID, you know it's in low Earth orbit. Why is that important, right? Why is it important? Well, this is important. Think about it. The Earth is, we know it's round, right? So if you're in high Earth orbit, if you've got a high orbiting satellite, it's going to be within reception of your station longer. because it's higher, okay? If you're, for example, let's say that you're on this little Post-it pad, right? And you're here on the Post-it pad, okay? This is your tower, okay? And the satellite is way up here. It's way up in high Earth orbit, okay? Look how long it is within signal strength of your tower, right? It's way up there. So you have longer time to work it. Now, if it's in low Earth orbit, it's down here. See, it's not only going to go typically, well, speed really won't make that much of a difference, but the fact that it's lower means you don't have as much time to work it. That's why that's important to know. All right. Good morning. It is December 1st, 2020, and Cyber Monday sales, they look like Black Friday sales, which look like Thursday's Thanksgiving sales, which look like pre-Thanksgiving almost. Now, there's some good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, I've just got everything I think finished on the AV680. We'll make a couple of CBCQ calls here. What is it here, UTC? We're at 8:46. So 8:46 in the morning in Great Britain. Hi, Alex. Good morning. Take a look at the rig. We'll see if maybe we can say a quick hello on 40 meters. That's a good time now to try and say hello to somebody because 40 is a great frequency to work in the evening. It's a fantastic one. Now I'm going to cut the glare from this one light, okay? So you can see everything better. Get that down. There you go. Still a little bit nasty. Hang on. And that made it worse. Hey, there we go. That's nice. There we go. Brilliant. Okay. Let's see if we can make just a quick call. See if anybody's there first. Somebody just above, and since we're on the lower side, I'm going to kick it down to just 1 kilohertz. Is this frequency available? This is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Just make a quick check. We'll see if we can say hello to folks, because it's overnight here in North America. Currently, my time, it is 12:47 in the morning. But my father-in-law's on the train coming from California here to Oregon, and I figured he's probably awake and he might be watching. So if he is, Dad, be safe. We're looking forward to seeing you later today. Checking frequency availability. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November. We'll do 2 CQ calls. We'll see if we can make it work. Now, typically, I'll make my calls about 35 to 45 seconds in length. I'm trying to get a little bit of a waterfall trail down a pan adapter screen on someone else's machine, on their transceiver so they can see it and tune into it. So we'll see what happens. CQ, this is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Kilo 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ, any station, anywhere. We're live on Ham Radio Live on YouTube, streaming about ham radio. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ, any station, anywhere. Live on YouTube on Ham Radio Live. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, calling CQ on 40 meters and listening. Again, you got people sleeping, middle of the night, but we'll try one more. CQ, 40 meters. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ, any station, anywhere, broadcasting live on YouTube on Ham Radio Live. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November calling CQ. CQ, any station, anywhere, live on YouTube, streaming. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November calling CQ and listening. I'll tell you what I thought. Gunter, good morning. My buddy Gunter in Wiesbaden is here. It's nice. I thought we'd have some folks from Europe. Good morning. It's a bit early here in the U.S. So, and 40's a little, we got somebody right here. Let's listen in. Could be picking up a station from Asia there, possibly. Could be Australia. Could be a ways away based on the signal strength and just how it looks on the signal strength meter. Just adjusting a little bit here. I'm adjusting the high parametric receive audio system to mid-range, because mid-range is where the voice is. Have a strong signal right here.
VK4BR, VK4BOB. KJ, this is W5 Foxtrot Papa calling. W5JI, W4 Willie Mike Tango, W5 Foxtrot Papa.
Okay. He's calling specific stations. Again, keep in mind, when you are trying to reach somebody specific, you'll call their call first, followed by yours last. All right, let's take a look. We got lots of stuff here on the screen. Let's go. Again, Alexander, thank you. You know I love seeing you, Alexander. Get some lights on in here now, just so you can see me again, right? That's important. The one show, it looked like it was in a cave. I was like, that's not so good. So thanks for your patience with that. I appreciate it. All right. So Gunter in Wiesbaden, good morning to you, my friend. Nice to see you. Always a pleasure. Truly always a pleasure to see you. Thank you, my friend. Hope things are well. Daylight's out here. Propagation of 40's dead. I bet it is. Yeah. Came home an hour ago and they've got snow in Germany already. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, 4 inches, huh? Ooh, that's a good start. He said radio receive worked great even while it was snowing. Low QRN. That's always good. Nice to do that. I just love ham radio. I do. And it's fun to talk to people. It's neat to meet people and have some fun. And Gunter's one of those people I just really enjoy because he's a great guy. Just a really great guy. And Gunter, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to communicate with you as much as I wanted to. There's been so much to do getting ready for this trip to Memphis this next week and just getting everything together. It's been a hard thing. And my brother's got cancer treatment a couple days and, well, now tomorrow, I guess, technically. And the dogs need their shots because they have to be boarded for about a week. It's a lot of stuff. So we'll be doing a live show, by the way, from the MFJ plant, from the factory. We'll be going through the factory. We'll show you everything. We'll do another interview, hopefully, with Mr. Jew there, and also find out about some of the latest products coming out of MFJ in Mississippi, and take a look at Graceland, too. That'll be a lot of fun. Gunter says 20 meters with a G5 RV is no fun. That's why I left the club station going home for breakfast. I believe it. There's really nothing wrong, though, with a G5 RV. I don't think really there's anything wrong. If you get up high enough, it's a good antenna. It's not a perfect antenna, but there's no perfect antenna. So, I think a G5RV is a good antenna. I really do. So, get up high enough. You're doing great. So thanks for coming. All right. The whole purpose of the channel always is to try and encourage people to join ham radio and teach them some of the basic stuff that will help them on the test. I hope the questions we provided this morning for you will do that. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please put them in the comment section. Do my best to answer them. If I can't, I'll pass them along to someone else who will be able to help you. I'll let you know someone else who might have better expertise in that area because I want you to get the right answer, okay? We try and help people get licensed here, do some product reviews from time to time, and just talk about ham radio, make some contacts, and let you know what it's like to be a ham radio operator. That's our pleasure. We just ask you, please, to hit the subscribe button. If you do, it helps people find the channel in the YouTube search algorithm so they can learn about ham radio, get some of these questions and some knowledge on them, and hopefully help them to pass the test. Yes, G5RV is a great antenna for 160, 80, and 40. I would agree. Yes. Yep. I don't know if you ever tried the ZS6BKW. Have you ever done that? You give up 80 on that, Gunter. You give up 80, but you do real well on 20 and 40 and 17. Does really good. Get up high, 48, 50 feet, and just let it go. Just does great. Really, you can use inverted V or flat. It's really solid. So rain gutter on the roof works better on 20 than the G5RV. That's funny, actually. Yeah, my gutters or my antenna work pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, see, that's pretty funny, actually, when you think about the rain gutters on the roof. So, yeah, if you do, try it. It's called the ZS6BKW. I have found that to be the best wire antenna multi-band I've ever used. And if you can get it 50 feet or higher, and that's with the legs as low as about 25 feet. So top 48 leg, radiator bottom at like 24, 25, you're doing really good on that. You'll love that antenna. It's fantastic. No, you give up 80 on it. Yeah. The radials just aren't long enough for it to work. It's 93 feet or 92 feet versus 102. So it's 10 feet shorter. You lose 80 meters on it. But what you get on 20 and 40 are well worth it. Trust me. You'll love how that antenna works. All right, we'll call it a wrap. I just wanted to come by. I know my father-in-law's on the train right now, coming from California. And he's coming up to spend time with us before we all go to Memphis to see Elvis's Graceland mansion. And we're going to go to his birthplace in Tupelo, Mississippi as well. And then spend a day at the MFJ factory and meet everybody and say hello and learn more about their products. I think it'd be a fascinating trip. So we'll be doing that next week. We'll take you along for the ride. We'll do the show live from MFJ as well as from a couple of places, I think, in probably in Memphis or in Mississippi. But we'll take you along. We'll bring a ham radio with us. We're going to bring the ICOM 7300 and we'll let her rip. See how we do with the Chameleon Impasse 2.0 quick deploy. It takes maybe 5 minutes to put it up. For space restricted people, we'll give you a good, honest review on it. We bought it. Why not? Thanks for watching, everybody. Ham Radio Live's here to help people get passionate and love radio. Radio's fun. Think about it. You can contact people from all over the world from the comfort of your home. All you need to do is really want it. And it's not miserably hard that will drive you crazy. I mean that with all my heart. I'm terrible at math. I'm awful at math. But I still passed. You can too. Contact your local government authorities that involve radio communications. If you're in the United States, contact the American Radio Relay League. I'll have the description in the below with the link to contact the ARRL, and they'll help you get started on the path to get you on the air. Okay, till next time, God bless you. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. You're the very best. To our new ham in the UK, Alexander, his call sign, Mike 7, November Kilo Oscar, 73 from the UK and 73 from the Pacific Northwest of Oregon in the US. My name is Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. And my good friend Gunther in Wiesbaden. He is Delta Kilo 5, Oscar November Victor. From all of us and my little dog Jasper under the blankets, 73. And in ham radio for new hams, our new ham friends, 73 means best regards. Until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.